Welcome to the lecture, Flow. Markets, Experience, Results. Flow is in Western countries very well known. First, I tell a little bit about barriers. A few examples. First, negative and unnecessary thoughts. Today, stressful things like messages in the mass media, and the professions in private life are growing more and more. And so negative and unnecessary thoughts are growing too, like this bee swarm around the head. In this stage, we cannot come into flow. The next one is the analytical mind. We need the analytical mind, but for flow, he is like knots in the brain, and they stand in the way of flow, in the way of flow. Many discoveries, important discoveries, were not made in with the analytical mind. They were made if the people were relaxed, in peace, maybe by a walk in the wood or similar. Another point are traumatic injuries and blockages. They are stored in different levels. The wall in the river is a barrier for the free floating, but it's free floating in the body. The energy must be free that it can flow, and so are important for a health body and for a health mind. These blockages and injuries are stored in the soul, in the subtle body, with the chakras. Most are more or less chakras blocked in the cells, in the neurological synaptic circuits, in the DNA, in the beliefs, in the subconsciousness. And this is what the new science of epigenetics says. Now, ways to flow. We see a boy on a air mattress lying in the water in the river. It seems to be that he is totally detached. He has trust that the air mattress with him goes the right way. Also, besides the barriers, like here the stone, the boy can observe the shores, the landscape, right and left, and be totally detached. Most important for myself was and is the inner silence, especially for flow. We can reach silence through Raja Yoga meditation. It includes soul consciousness. Raja Yoga meditation, Raja Yoga means the combination with the Supreme Soul, with God. And meditation means the way to go inside, to collect the inner qualities with the help of God. It includes soul consciousness. Soul consciousness is very important because only in soul consciousness we can really connect us with the Supreme Soul, from soul here to soul. It's about spiritualization, the detachment from the body, the detachment from duality, the detachment from roles, also especially from our own role. It's about being. Next point are brainwaves as an indication for the flow. We see different levels of brainwaves. The third and the fourth are most important for the flow. It's theta and delta. They are the doors to the subconsciousness and to the flow, and additional to the quantum field. But that's another lecture. The beta here, the upper one here, we have, when we speak like me, when you listen, alpha, everybody experiences shortly before sleeping. Then alpha, theta, and delta we can experience more or less in deep meditation. Gamma is a special one. I experienced it 40 years ago. It was combined with extraordinary experiences. So now I show a symbol for different levels of consciousness. We have here person A and the person B. There, the green line is the upper consciousness, the blue one is the subconsciousness. In this both, we are separate because the first one has different experiences met, has different qualities, and this as the other one. But down below in the red line, we are both in the eternal deity energy. It's the deity consciousness. It's also called quantum field, then 0-point field. It's the primary energy. From there, everything comes. But it's also the energy of unity. In this energy, we are unified. We don't feel a difference between you and me. Jesus, for example, said, "What you have done, another one have you done to me." That means this topic, because in this level, we are the same. It's also the unity of being. But I say this in other words. Now we come to the detached observer. We see an observer which observes a movie. Two children are fighting. We see on the right side an objector and projector. But the main point is this man is detached. He sees a movie from his childhood here on the left side, but he is detached. As a detached observer, we are not anymore identified with our past story. It's an important sentence. We are not anymore identified with our past stories. Attention, also a very important tool in my spiritual life. This includes presence in here and now. Reality only exists in here and now. If your thoughts are in the future or in the past, by the most people, the thoughts are in the past, then real life cannot be experienced. This means, in particular, what is happening and what is it doing to me? If something is happening, and what is it doing to me? I had a lot of possibilities to make a training for this point, because the students I was teaching were permanently making problems, and to learn for myself to be more and more detached from these problems. As anyway, this mindfulness here enables everyday corrections, and these corrections are the point. I could see when somebody was jumping up in myself, like anger, stress, first to realize, second, to give myself space, inner space, and third, to be detached more and more. This was a very important learning process. It was not coming from one day to the next day. It was a long learning process, but it was very helpful for me. And this in turn lead to automations in practical life. Then more and more, this changing the attitude, my attitude, brought easiness and joy in my practical life. Another point is heart-brain coherence. But first, I will speak about the balance. Scientists have found that the heart vibration is 5,000, you hear, 5,000 times stronger than the brain waves. In Western countries, anyway, the brain waves are much more heavier than the heart waves. And so it's very important to bring them into balance. But another very, very much important thing is the heart-brain coherence. That means that heart and brain are working together. The heart has an own brain. It's a new knowledge from the scientists. And to bring them, the heart and the brain, the heart's brain and the head brain, bring together, that they are synchronized in coherence. Then your life maybe is changing. You become a happy life. Now some practical experiences in my work as a curative teacher. I was in a special school for handicapped children, for speech handicapped children, first of all, but many of them were also behavior handicapped, learn handicapped, hyperactive, and they had problems by reading, by writing, and so on, a lot of problems. And to find a solution that they could maybe back in their home school. They were coming from many outside cities to this school. They were collected in this school, but very seldom they could back. Normally they had to go, I had a combined class with 5, 6, also 5 and 6. And I had them 2 years. And yeah, I was trying many different tools to make progress. The usual learning process I had at the university in Germany was not bringing very easy the solutions. So at least I made what I learned for myself for many years. I made yoga and meditation. But in this school, I could not say I make yoga and meditation with the students It was forbidden because it was an evangelic school of the Christian church. And so I called it silence exercises. Nobody could say something against silent exercises. The children, the students, were sitting in a half cycle around me. And so one by one, every day for 5 to 10 minutes at the beginning, I was meditating with them. And the special thing was, I was looking in the eyes of the students one by one, and in the consciousness that the eyes are the windows of the soul. So at least I had soul contact. I had soul contact, and this soul contact, I went into feelings to look after their treasures, to look after their qualities. And of course, it wasn't coming immediately, but after some weeks, after some months, it was coming more and more that I could feel different qualities in the students. And now a wonder was happening. After a while, the students felt their qualities, I felt too. And more they felt their qualities. And this was a very deep impact to them, so that they opened also for the usual learning process. They made progress in speech, they made progress in behavior, they made progress in the whole learning process. And so after a while, I could send them back. It was unusual. Normally they had to go up to the 9th or 10th class in this special school for handicapped children, but I couldn't send them after 1 or maximum 2 years back into her home school. And they were coming from different cities outside, and the parents were, of course, happy, also the children, that they could go back into the homeschool. And there was a special experience I made. It was like a stage of flow. It was, if I was in a deep spiritual consciousness, then the whole atmosphere changed, the whole atmosphere every day, and more was the atmosphere, it was harmonizing the atmosphere, so that we had a lot of joy and happiness by the learning process. Of course, first of all, me too, because there was no stress anymore for me. And after 1, maximum 2 years, I could send them back. And the point was that there was, first I didn't realize it, but later I realized it, that there was a unified field, energy field, like the red line in the graphic before. In this unified field, there was like a synchronization. You remember, I'm sure you have observed that a swarm of birds was changing the direction immediately, all together in the same second. And like this principle was going on, they were in a united energy field, and therefore this harmony every day was coming up. It was like flow. We were in a stage of flow. I saw smiling children. We had a lot of humor. We had many good experiences. And first of all, also the learning process was going on. Now, the next point. This point is connected with this one, because one of the most important laws, I called it the law of creation. The energy follows, it means the energy follows the attention. There is another saying in English, where attention goes, energy flows. That which I look at, that grows. If I look to the qualities of the children, like here, if I look to the flower and give water and sunshine, then the flower is growing. If I would give weed, water to the weed, and the weed would grow. But of course, I was interested to give water and sunshine to the flowers, to the qualities of the students. So this is one of these important laws. There were more, but this is one of the most important laws I observed. Another point is yoga and meditation I spoke about. Of course, yoga is the foundation and meditation, they are the foundation. You see here a wheel. There are some people standing, hanging on this wheel. They are in stress. And the one in the middle, he is standing on the axis. The axis is quiet. The axis doesn't go around. The wheel is going around the axis. Additional, the soul is combined with the highest soul down here up. And both the meditation to come in the inner middle, in the inner powerful middle, additional through the help of God, it brought the stability, in my case, the stability of the curative teacher. And the more I came into stability, the more the children came into stability. It was dependent. As I realized this, I had a lot of things to realize through this work. Of course, I knew exactly what I have to do and to observe my attitude. The next is silence. I spoke about silence, but here an explanation. A calm lake means a calm soul allows the deep view. If there are disturbance, if there is stress in the head, you cannot look in the deepness of the souls of the students, also in my own soul, in me, the soul. But if the lake is totally quiet, if there are no waves, the small boy is looking down, he can look to the ground of the lake. Means we can look down into the subconsciousness to our treasures. Did you understand this? I hope so. No resistance is the next one. The children here on the left side are fighting. As long as I was fighting with the negative habits and negative learning process by the children, we could not really make progress, as I was detached here on the right side, and not anymore was coming into anger, into stress, and so on. This was also a very important point for the progress. To develop intuition, for me, intuition is the divine intellect. We read here the power of silence, it's in German. Then here is standing to give yourself inner space, inner room. Then it's coming the resonance space, the resonance room. And then you can hear your inner voice. And a simple example, if you have an instrument like a cello and you give the strings on a normal, usual stick and you play, you try to play, it's better said, you cannot hear something. You need a resonance room, the resonance room from the cello. Then you can, by playing, hear the voice of the cello. Understand, therefore, this intuition is also a very important tool. What I did with the students, also by myself, of course, to discover treasures combined with God through yoga. I was by looking to the eyes of the students, I was, of course, combined with the Supreme Soul. And this brought the power we needed. This had very much peaceful power, so that the children opened the subconsciousness, and I could look together with God. Maybe he realized this too, the qualities of the students. In German, verdecken means discover, and entdecken means, verdecken means cover, means cover, and entdecken means discover. It's similar to English. Then you put away the cover, then you can see the treasures. At least the results of the flow. I'm in the flow when it's easy. I'm in the flow when it's joyful. And I'm in the flow when it's efficient. And a very interesting sentence, I'm in the flow if it's happens by itself. If the heart-brain coherence is there. But there are also other tools. And all this, first of all this, I experienced my work in the school by the students. Also, it's efficient was very important, because I could see if the children met, for example, in the beginning, when they came to me, they were coming from different other special schools. And if they made by the dictate first by 100 words, maybe 60 or 80 mistakes, then after half year, not 60 mistakes and only 20. It was, I could directly observe the progress by the learning process. In the speech anyway, I could tell very interesting stories about this. It has to do the heart coherence and synchronicity. I spoke about the synchronicity. If we were in a united energy field, in a flow, it is the same, means the flow. In a united energy field, it happened automatically. The whole atmosphere was changing more and more. Every day the children were coming with joy into school. Normally, school, no, school, no, I don't like school. It's stress, and teachers always chatting with me and so on. But this was, has gone. They were coming with joy and happiness, and this had to do with this synchronicity too. The children became, also if we became fearless and open for learning process, open for other students, then they became in a natural presence. Their life only exists in the present, not in the past, not in the future. And to learn that I am in here and now, no ratings, eye level. It was a respectful eye level. Then the sense of unity. In the red level from the graphic I was showing you, we were in the flow, and then we had respectful, esteemful come together, and this was also a sign of a good atmosphere and a good form of unity. It was the feeling of we, not there is the teacher and here are we, or here I am. We were together, we were in unity. self-esteem and esteem was coming. Experience the divine that anyway happens the whole time, especially by the silence exercises. And in this level, we had very often deep soul touches. Deep soul touches. This was, they were the most powerful experience for myself. Normally, it's not possible between teacher and student. But without bodily touching, we had a deep feeling of community. So now we are at the end. We make a small meditation. For this, we don't need any more pictures. You know, my English is not the best, and therefore I try more than you as usual to write on the computer. But now let us go into silence. For you, I can explain something. To come into flow means to come into the experience of deep qualities, positive qualities. The more we experience positive qualities, like peace, like altruistic love, like freedom, like happiness, the more we can accept ourselves in a stage of esteem. The more we experience our deep qualities, our positive qualities, the more we can be detached from outside problems. The more I come into my deep qualities, the more I take part to create a new world. Try to look in my eyes. Don't close your eyes. Open your eyes and look to my eyes. Not I am interested, but I'm connected with the Supreme. And maybe you can a little bit experience His love, His peace, His energy. The more we experience, the more we come into flow. Let us be combined for a short while. in silence. Then you can perhaps say too, I'm a peaceful soul. Thank you.